Last we left off, your party was victorious in battle deep beneath the town of Brunderkiln. Standing at the precipice of a magma-lit cavern, you had barely caught your breath when you were alerted to the sound of another creature within the chamber. Telepathically, it called out to you to come to it. Cautiously, you made your way across the chamber and met with this aberrant creature, speaking to you from within a scrying gate. It seemed to be reading you, absorbing what information it could by studying you and listening to your responses with an aloof, inhuman air. This figure identified itself as a herald of the Dark Hunger and foretold the death of this world upon its arrival. It noted your unpreparedness and lack of color, but still sought fit to offer you a chance at surviving this fated end. By joining forces with this analogous band, in doing so your strength would never wane, nor would you suffer the fate that every living thing across Vigil will soon face. When you were less than thrilled, it seemed nonplussed, but nevertheless left the offer on the table. Should you seek to take it before the end, you could come and find it where the light itself is too frightened to go, where ash falls from the sky like rain. With its final words, it uttered a bellowing screech, and the occupied spawn above roared in kind, and suddenly were all gone. With that, you sought to complete your task to replace the ruined divining rod and re-establish the network. First, you investigated a number of notable spots within this chamber. The octahedron of cold metal half submerged in a lava pool, an odd remnant left by the lesser herald that you had just destroyed, and a vault of treasure long lost before you returned to the surface and elected to rest before you would complete your task. In the morning light, you found the site and began the ritual. You expected resistance, as you had previously, yet none came. Instead, in the dimension of potential and fate, Andy instead found a figure who embraced her and delivered an unsettling warning. While the rest of you saw 10 motes of light burst from the divining rod. Upon touching them, you were granted visions and prophecy held in limbo by an unfinished network. With these revelations to be deciphered, but your task complete, you took your leave of Brunderkiln with a new ally, and the intention to meet your employer at the Draaken tunnel northeast of here. And as you cross over the chasm that had kind of surrounded the town and are free with the day ahead of you, we begin today.
What's that? We kicking this off right in the morning?
Yeah, pretty much like first light. You guys got up, did the ritual, and with nothing to do left in the town, have made your way out at, like 10 a.m.
Nettie, I was thinking it over last night, and I really think you were kind of distracted last night. I really think you should have this. And I want to give her the battle loot.
Just imagining it's like way too big for you guys at this point.
Really? No one else wants it?
I think it's just so you.
All right, well, if you're sure. Thanks. Oh, this is so cool.
You look down, and it has a strap from the kind of neck, which is the arm of the battle axe, around to the base. You're able to kind of sling it over your shoulder, over your back, and it does have the strings along to be played as a lute, but one edge is heavily sharpened metal that is kind of like almost like welded into this greater kind of body of this instrument in multiple ways. It does fit, and as you kind of just like strum and just kind of hands kind of play around and look at it, where you kind of pluck a string, you see a spark.
Oh. Talk about electrifying beats. That's so cool. I can play killer tunes. Get it?
See, I knew you would love this. I knew it would be so you.
So cool.
It does require
attunement. Okay.
I feel I might need to learn a little bit more about it.
Sure. Spend time with it. Let it speak to you.
Get acquainted, attuned,
Maybe. Think about it. You don't have to answer right away. You should give it a name. Like all cool weapons and instruments have names.
Whoa. We don't even have a name for our party. How am I supposed to come up with a name for this thing?
Maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll help inform the party name. Here's the thing. Maybe we're not a party. Maybe we're a band. What was that, DeCrane?
The bandits.
It's not bad. Like a band on the run.
Bandits.
Bandits are like, we've had bad luck with bandits, honestly. Not us. Sorry. Helm. Why all I can have now stuck in my head is Fox on the Run. That's going to be in my head for the whole rest.
What about Traveling Wilbury? Traveling Wilbury's band on the run. It's so good.
The anti-heroes.
The anti-heroes.
Like the famous bard Swift the Tailor? Like that one?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Because no one asked us to be heroes.
Okay. There was a lot of doom talk as well, but we don't have to decide right now. It'll come to us. The Killers.
The killers.
Okay. We'll think about it. I think we got to head off northeast because we got to meet. I don't know if it's going to be Ludomir himself or maybe someone from. I'm just totally blanked on. I was going to say the gang. So from the Infinite Alliance could meet us there, but I'll like maybe hop up on a little log, kind of like get my bearings with the sun. Can I make some sort of like check to see what route we should take here?
Definitely. Make a survival check, please.
Oh, Al, I was rolling so shit last game.
That's true.
I'm going to go right for actual dice right away. It's a 5, so luck continues. 5 plus survival is 8, so 13.
Solid, honestly. Really, really good. Easy enough to gather your bearings of northeast. And the Draaken Tunnel is, you know that to be the kind of destination for the fast path back through town to Karden. And it's easy to make your way there because it's basically at the base of the Silver Mountains where you were previously. It was the alternate path that you decided to shy away from on your way here for fear of potential military run-ins. So unfortunately having to now make that elected path now, you're not familiar necessarily with this terrain, but with that roll, you do see there is a road that does lead kind of in the easterly direction. That seems to be at least a road to take you, if not part the way, it'll take you to the east and be kind of on the right path. So there's a road that's a little ways off to kind of catch up to you. You got to kind of make your way over some grassy terrain, but at least it'll be a road.
It's in this direction, everybody. So, Coulson, once you're done making breakfast, we can kind of set out the gang, and you're gonna love Karden. It's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be great. Can't wait to show you the big city.
Coulson doesn't really even acknowledge you as he's, since you guys have been like having this conversation, just simply been looking to the south and kind of wistfully looking back at Brunderkiln, and doesn't respond until you guys begin to kind of march in this direction, and he follows suit and quickly overtakes and begins to go for the lead.
Just following behind him. Just be cheerily walking next to Nettie. I imagine she's strumming along or anything.
Yeah, you guys travel on this direction with a 13. You're not sure the extent of the travel, like how long it's going to take you to get where you need to go. You know it's a number of days. So at the very least, you're going to be traveling for at least a full day on this road. And maybe by the next morning or the following, you'll get a better idea of your trajectory of time. But on this kind of first day, is there anything you guys do? For the most part, you're just following this road. It's taking you in the right direction by your best assumptions. And Coulson gives kind of the nod that this is the way to go. But yeah, is there anything that you guys want to accomplish, say, or do on your day's journey?
I think at one point I would probably try to start being chill about it, but eventually end up talking to Crane's ear off in an annoying way, trying to get as many details as he remembers from his visions as possible, and like making mental notes, and like also trying to like, I've been like the whole time just hems of all of her clothing, and then on the back of her spellbook sash is like her way of taking notes is just by doing weird little embroidery, like shorthand and images and stuff like that to help her remember what things are. So I think just using, since we're still not around a lot of people, openly using like mending cantrip for now to try to get all of this stuff in her clothes as possible, and then probably annoying the fuck out of Crane.
Simple enough for you to accomplish the simple magic of mending as you're kind of going along your way. And using your shorthand, you guys are able to, I'll refresh your collective memories briefly about the visions that you had seen. Andy, you're the only one to have been given the direct warning in the fate plane of fate and potential. However, the visions that you had received were Draaken had 3 visions, one of a royal purple spider on a web, the web and the spider crushed beneath falling rock. The second, a knight in a darkened forest plunges his blade into its chest, and the crimson blood that pours forth makes a pool and then is touched by another hand. The third, being the most ominous, I would say, the night starry sky being swallowed whole and left behind only a gray nothing of rock and emptiness before you too were swallowed by a all-encompassing void. Enid, you had also reached out and touched a vision, one of these orbs that granted the vision of a land of kind of dune and glittering sand, lightning and burning skies, and these kind of portal doorways of triangular shape that seem to open, and this land of monstrosities and monsters, as a new doorway was opened, began to roar and bellow as they charged forth to go through one of these newly formed doors. These visions, some have some meaning that you have kind of begun to suggest and talk about, and likely on this day's journey as Andy and Draaken are recounting and going over the first bits of your, brainstorming session, trying to figure out what these things could mean, is kind of thrown out there. And if you have anything you want to add, feel free. But
I was just thinking for what Augie's doing during this day. I think Augie would... What was the one thing I was actually going to say? Oh, I think he's genuinely pretty happy. I think he was feeling pretty heavy over being underground and then having to do the first quest and then having to do this, and being surrounded by the city was terrifying. So he's kind of like proud of themselves that they've actually done this. And so he's noticeably like hoppier, lighter. I think Ray's probably like flitting around with a little more zest. And I think he spends, at least in this first day, at one point, he transforms into a wolf, like the wolves they saw on the mountain on the first, just trying to get like a handle on that. And so seeing it's like a safe space, wild shapes into like a wolf for the first time. And it's just starting to feel more comfortable in his magic and growing into this role.
Yeah, I think the that elected wild shape into this thing that can easily have some dark undertones and connotation, especially in old tale, and it is surprisingly freeing and surprisingly comfortable to do so. And as you've found over time, over this adventure, your magic and your handle of it is flowing far faster, and you have a better grasp on it than you really thought you could have. And you see, as you like are experimenting and are more joyful in it, Ray alights in kind and is like jubilantly like circling and like almost lifting you up in her own response and pride.
So cute.
As the unless there's anything else, you guys travel for the first day on these roads, on this one road, I should say. But at the end of the first day, you leave the quiet of Brundakiln behind, and across grassy plains of Ironhome you walk. On the road, it is quiet, and by sundown, you're looking to leave the road for a quiet, safe place to camp and rest for the night. The plains of dry grass leave a lot of wide open sight lines, save the obstructions of great tumbled boulders and natural spires of stone, and as well as the rolling hills themselves, which provide some dispersion of your sight line. So there's not much in the way of cover, but you do find a cluster of these kind of rock spires, a comfortable enough spot to rest, give you some cover and comfort. And over your journey, you've not seen much along this journey. There's been a few kind of goats ambling about in the hills. You've noticed a handful of long, cold campsites, like off the sides of the road as you kind of spread out over your journey. People have traveled here and done the same you're about to do, but not recently. Birds of prey swirl overhead, but keep to themselves, never coming close. By and large, uneventful. And with ease, you set up camp beneath open skies that quickly, as you do so, turn deep blue and purple and begin to glitter with starlight. A fire is lit, and the comforts of camp greet you all. What are you doing with your evening? Are you taking watches? Is there anything you guys want to talk about or do now that you have settled in for this evening?
I think watches for sure. We're out in the wilds. You never know.
Coulson will elect to take first.
Classic Coulson.
I can take watch after.
You're so brave, Coulson. Sorry, not Coulson.
Degree.
The Gran. So what do you guys think, like, as we're settling into camp, I imagine, kind of stretching out, cozying up by this fire? What do you guys think, like, is next for us? You know, this was kind of like the first test, I guess, for the Infinite Alliance was going to that little village and, you know, our first encounter with the spawn, and now we've done this and set up the rest of the network.
I think we have many fights to come. And if I'm honest, not all of us will survive.
What are you saying? Why are you always so down about it?
Being honest.
Draaken, I can't tell if you're like trying to be cool and scary and like scare us into shape, or if you're like legitimately straight-faced. People will die, and maybe one of you guys. We'll see.
Maybe both, but the fact of the matter is, what I saw is nothing to be taken lightly.
The Queen, I don't want honesty. I want lies. Tell me sweet little lies.
I don't believe in visions. I don't believe in destiny. But it doesn't mean I wasn't concerned.
Okay. Do you think we should join the spooky alien guy?
I think the spooky alien guy was super happy to let the rest of our world die.
Yeah.
Is there a way we could trick him? Could we get something out of him without having to commit? Try.
Potentially.
Or could we lie to him?
Honestly, like, literally days ago, I learned that people lie. So I think really anything's possible.
He's probably by himself.
I don't think he is. I don't know that he is, but and the problem is he's in the waste. The waste is fucking dangerous.
Well, the other option is we could just kill him and see what happens.
I think we might have to at some point.
Why wait? Let's do it now.
Well, we've got to go back to Karden.
If we wait, it's like he will get stronger.
It just seemed like he was like at home, probably like surrounded by a bunch of other spooky baddies. Because remember, this city was overrun, so I just don't want to like go walk into their like turf. I kind of like the idea of maybe, we can play both sides. He doesn't have to know that we're with the Alliance, but
what if we double cross him? What if we say you'll join him? Like, he has to give us a down payment. And that down payment is a special weapon, a special power. Well, not power. I don't want power.
It seems like you want power. You went right to power.
I'm good. You can have the powers. You need them more.
Thank you.
Honda the Blue is alive and well, everybody. Seems like what we need is a deal to give us the coolest weapon in the world.
Right?
We take a down payment, and then we run with it.
Maybe we call ourselves the Bankers.
If we do this, yes, that could work.
I don't really like that as a name.
Look, the thing is, he seemed rather unimpressed with us and was like, oh, wow, like, I can't believe that you guys didn't die. That's fascinating because you seem pretty bad at this. He basically said that to us. So I'm a little worried about, like, showing up and him being like, let me wave my hand and disintegrate all of you. But, I mean, I think trying to talk with others who've maybe seen some similar things, trying to figure out what's going on with Ursa, and, like, I mean, I don't want to knock on wood, but, like, I haven't been together that long, and I can do stuff I have been trying to do for years. And just never could until now. I'm not sure about all you, but we seem to be getting better. Maybe we can just work on staying together and just trying to get better at all this, and then maybe eventually we can deal with the thing that's going to potentially end the entire world.
I mean, I really liked traveling together and getting stronger. As much as the crane sometimes does kind of terrifying stuff, it's starting to become like kind of like fun and jovial. But I just go where my sister goes. So Nettie, if you want to leave these guys, I'll leave them like in the middle of the night with you. That's totally fine.
Well, I go where you go, so if that's where you want to go, then.
All right. Well, maybe we'll stick with you guys for now. Then that sounds good.
Decision making in your household must have been.
Well, we didn't do it. So.
No. Our moms did it.
Wash
It's
their
much
hands of
easier.
it.
Yeah.
I wonder if they've got me a letter. Didn't she send a letter?
Yeah, that'd be so nice to go back to Karden and see if they got the letter. Like maybe they replied. Yeah. I don't want to like. Something I've been thinking about too is remember when we were in the underground and we fought those like. Before we met the dragon lady, we fought those people and they said, Nettie, they recognized your bow and they said they'd seen more of our kind down there.
Yeah.
I'd kind of like separated myself from thinking about it while we were in that city, but now we're back here in the open space. Just think about what that person said before they left.
Yeah. I don't know where we can find out more information about that, though.
I think I kept one of the daggers in my bag. One of the, like, wrought blades. And so we could ask Ludomir about it, because I remember we gave him another one, and he said he was going to look into it, so...
Well,
just other things to...
And I took their bow, because it was almost exactly the same as mine. Except I thought I made mine.
I said something about the hunt. You're a part of the hunt, or the bow is a part of the hunt.
I mean, I'm not there yet, but I know there are divination spells that can look into people that you've seen or met before. I'm not there yet.
Well, and that's another thing. We encountered someone, I'm pretty sure, who said Andy's the chosen one, and that she's had prophecies since she was a child.
I've seen prophecies about some of these things for a really long time, but then I didn't see them until I met a grain, and then they came back. But there's just a lot, and I'm wondering, now that this divining network's up again, maybe that'll give us some answers. or give, Ludomir the opportunity for answers, but we're not going to know until we get there.
I'm just so reassured. Go for it.
No, go ahead.
I'm just so reassured that despite us three having mysteries in our past, that the crane has nothing. He's just an open book with no trauma whatsoever.
And he's so cool.
He's so cool.
The past is the past. We have to be worried about what's to come.
Yeah, you're right. So true. So profound. Guys, Coulson's so quiet. I think he's already asleep.
I thought he was going to do watch.
Shit, you're right.
In fairness, elves don't really sleep. They meditate.
Oh, that's true. Forgot he was an elf.
He's probably just trancing out. Okay.
How nice is it outside? Is it cold? Are we getting to?
Good question.
It's pretty chilly. The warmth of the fire is important, and your multiple layers are needed. Your blankets are certainly kind of wrapped around you. It's very cozy by the fire, which kind of adds to the little fam jam conversation. But it is you know that it's going to get cool through the night and continually get colder. In terms of timeline in the year, you guys are at the end of what would be November, coming into December.
Oh man, I miss being down south where it's warmer. I love sleeping outside.
We don't really feel the cold as much because we're wearing coats all the time. It's our fur. I was just looking back in my book, and something else we gotta show Ludomir is all of these really good drawings I've made. This is the tri-clean, the moth guy. So
Oh wow, that's really good.
I feel like I've been getting better.
You have.
Yeah. And I can show him I've drawn at least 50 birds, so many different jays. And then maybe I could talk to you about that tonight. I wanted to walk through all 50 again with you. Just get
sure. Okay. And don't forget, you got to show him the really cool dragon picture in your one dragon book.
Yes, you're right. I don't know if he's seen it in a while. I gotta open that up and let me find it for you guys.
Yeah, let's see.
Again, just show the one cover shot of these dragons.
It's in the dedication page.
Pretty cool.
Oh.
I wonder if there's any other pictures. I'll read it later.
None of the other pages are creased whatsoever. Nothing cracked.
The spine is barely broken.
When I get through my 2 books, maybe I'll...
No, I don't want you to spoil it for me. I'll read it. I'll get to it.
No, just when I'm done these ones. I've never had that many books. I usually only have one. I hold up dig out my thing, and there's a little shitty, very beat up book that's about I don't know, how to take care of your farm equipment or something super lame. I only ever have one book, and then when I stop in a small town, I'll go to the bookstore and be like, hey, can we trade out a book? And then you kind of got to travel light. I never had. It's like a mini library. We got 3 of them,
3
including the
books
farm
on me.
one, but.
Nettie, do you think you'll spend some more time playing your little battle lute by the fire before bed?
Oh yeah. Hey, I think I got a name for it. How about hear me out.
Okay.
Thundercleave?
Thundercleave? I like it. Yeah, I do.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So thinking that, or slash, because I can hit.
Slash is really cool
slash,
too.
Right? That's cool.
Yeah.
It's
the
very musician.
Yeah.
The slash. Yeah.
Slash bolt. Maybe we could work electricity in there too or something.
You could be slosh on the edge.
Oh. And then the other one I thought about was it was nothing really special. It was just Stormcleaver.
Stormcleaver is really cool. I love this. That.
Really?
Yeah, it's so cool.
I kind of like it.
Stormcleaver. Can we get a performance check, Kyle, from Nettie strumming on this? How good is she at it?
I think that is a totally fair request. Let's see a performance check on this.
All right. You gotta use real dice for this.
You gotta use the real stuff.
Okay, hold on.
We gotta get you a metal D20 that you only use
using
this thing.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, performance is +3. Okay, hold on.
Okay,
Pretty
great.
good.
I rolled a 15.
Sick.
Hey.
Really good.
What would be the riff that you'd want to go for? Like, what's the vibe you're trying to play?
Just like electric, like.
Yeah, inside of a very short amount of time, Enid has just fully just created like just an amazing lick, and it's just like shredding up and down the neck of this thing. Sparks are kind of flying and sparking down into the fire, kicking up sparks, like zapping at like your toes down at the ground. And as just like a final strum, you see from the kind of head of the neck, just this kind of like of sparks, just storm cleaving away.
Ned, you're so good at loot. It's crazy.
Whoa, that's awesome. But remember, I won't do more than 2 shows a night.
I love it. Oh my god.
So cool.
So cool. Okay, everyone else, find an instrument you can play, or else this band's gonna be pretty lame. The Crane, you've got a gun, so I don't know if that's like the bass or percussion.
You're focusing
Like
on
tap-
and learning your weapons, not instruments.
The Crane, it's the same thing.
It is a weapon.
I don't think so.
Yeah. It's literally got like an edge. It's a
See?
giant
Flips around.
axe thing.
Chops into some wood.
Yeah,
Master.
shatters through a log.
Master the weapons
It is
you
a
use in a
little
fight.
heavy.
Okay. I'll take like last watch. That way I can get up early and get up with the sun. So Coulson takes first. We could do like 3 watches. Does that
Yeah,
make
DeCrane
sense?
said he'd take the second one.
Great, DeCrane, you just wake me up. Not too early, but and then I'll get up. Okay, good night. Good night, everyone.
Everyone settles back into their tents, into your sleeping sacks, and just getting comfortable for the night. Coulson quietly takes his watch as the 4 of you settle in for rest. Augustus, just give me a perception check at disadvantage.
You knew it'd be a good call for me. 11.
Okay. Sorry, who was taking second? Crane, were you on second watch?
The Cran.
Yes.
DeCrane, Coulson at some dark hour rouses you from your rest to take watch, and he goes and takes his kind of seat back in his kind of position, and doesn't quite fully enter like his meditative stance, but like obviously not sleeping, but is kind of a half in, half out trance position as he settles in for watch. Kind of, not that he was much of a talker previously, but certainly just kind of in his own head. As you are on watch, go ahead and make a perception check for me. Okay, 13 naturally.
Decent.
What's your perception bonus?
I think it's 6. Let me double check. Yes, 6.
Okay, yeah, 19. Not much to be seen on watch. It's a quiet night. You hear the howling of coyotes or wolves way off in the distance, just echoing over the plains. Nothing draws close. It does get cold as night fully takes on, so keeping the fire stoked and warm is paramount. But with the 19, the one thing you do notice is Coulson in his meditative stance. You notice in his left hand, he's holding the whetstone that he's been kind of given and has been traveling with since you guys found it in Brunderkiln. And kind of tucked beneath his right knee, you see a book, and you recognize the book. It's Augustus's book, the book that he's been drawing and his birds and things in. Perhaps Coulson was just like looking at it on his watch or something. He's not like hiding it. It's just noted that it's kind of tucked there. But nothing else happens upon your watch. it passes without anything more. Before I ask you to wake Augustus for a third watch, as the night does grow long and staring into the fire or staring up into the sky above constellations and starlit as it is, do your thoughts linger at all on the visions that you've had, the potentially ominous future in store, and particularly the kind of connection between the dark final vision that you found of the void consuming and that same familiar consuming void that you experience in your near-death experience at the beginning of when you guys found your way into Brunderkill? Or do you put all of that aside and focus on the task?
No, I definitely think about it because I think I did bring it up earlier too. And yeah, I guess maybe I'd ponder like, what if some of it was the past, or like one is past, one is present, one is future?
Your pondering of the time manipulation and when do these things take place? Where do these things take place? You do your eyes kind of glaze as you kind of draw internal, and you still see the firelight and the crackle in the sky above, but the edges grow a little dark. And I do require you to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Ooh.
Spooky, scary, spooky, scary.
19.
Oh, baby.
Hey.
Nice gods. We were talking about it pre-game.
A 19 is solid on its own without your bonus. Your mind pulling at all these pieces, and the experience that you guys felt and witnessed, the fear that gripped your heart in the fight with the herald, seeing through the portals and this presence of an otherworldly creature entity creeping its way through. There's a moment where you feel like on the back of your neck a cold biting sensation, that same point in your chest where the creature itself had kind of gripped and held onto your heart feels suddenly cold, empty, like a sucking void sensation before you snap to, your eyes from your glazed memory to here and now, present, safe, sane, and nothing else happens. But there was a moment there, something.
I tell Gus when I wake him up for the watch, I say, it seems the spirit world is alive here. Please keep an eye on it. It's not peaceful.
Okay.
Ominous morning messages with the crane.
Just imagine you just going back, leaning back to sleep.
I also want to point out, from the time that you began pondering and on your watch to the point where you snap to, hours have passed. A significant amount of time was lost in musing or potentially something else. You awaken Augustus and then are able to settle down for your own rest. And Augustus, your watch kind of begins in that just as the sun is beginning to kind of not even crest the horizon, but the light is about. Not quite dark anymore, but still in this pre-dawn. The pale light is around, illuminating low-lying fog, frosty dew that clings to everything beyond your fire. And with this ominous note, Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Let's do real dice. Okay, it's a 3 and then an 8.
Oh my
11.
god. Have you rolled higher than 12 in the last 2 games?
I don't believe in it.
Thankfully, there's not much more to be seen here because you are only looking for ghosts and spooky things, and every shadow that is growing longer by the rise of the sun sets you on edge. Your fur does not take, always standing on end. And you are incredibly startled and jump and gasp when you feel a heavy hand on your shoulder. You look up into the armored, attired Coulson looking down on you. I don't want to say like a grim look on his face, but a different one than his normal gruff exterior. He hands you your own book. And kind of within the book and in his hand, the whetstone.
Oh, thank you. Are you okay?
Yeah. I'll be fine. Take care of yourselves. And he turns about and heads south, walking off without a word more into the fog.
Can I put the whetstone beside me and inspect my book?
There's a page marked with the little tassel, and you see in relatively flourishing Elvish script, but common words written. Friends, I am ever grateful for your actions that save my people and myself. By the code of honor I live and train by, I am forever indebted to you. However, in my meditations, my thoughts linger on those left behind. A desire for answers and for vengeance clouded my better judgment. It is clear to me now I must return to ensure those we saved receive the sanctuary they deserve. You have one another, and the strength to see yourselves through the dark path you walk. One I wish I could follow to its end, but that path is not yet for me. A day will come where we draw swords together to avenge the lost and to protect those in need. But for now, I bid you safe travels home and ask your forgiveness for my departure. If ever you need my blade, it is yours. Coulson Tedeschi Winchester.
I'll just quietly shut the book, look at like the wisps of the fog that he's disappeared into, and just say, "The first Avenger." And just put the book down.
It is a bittersweet morning, but he is on the path he needs to be, and you are on yours.
Stoke the fire a bit, trying to be quiet. Look at Nettie probably snuggling Stormcleaver. And as sad as that was, still kind of feel optimistic, especially since the spirit realm didn't hurt him before the sun came up. But
all seems well, and the morning comes still cold, though you are all roused and have your breakfast and are able to make a plan for your day. You don't have a map collectively to kind of gauge and make like a group survival check, so it is going to rely on the individual. But anyone who wishes to can make a survival check to try and ascertain direction, pace, all these kinds of things as you begin to set off for the day.
I did it first, so somebody else. Roll some dice. Because Daddy's not rolling well tonight, everybody.
Allie has good survival.
Yeah, Allie, you do it up.
I can do survival, sure. Are you kidding me? Okay, so my survival is +6. I got 8 total.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
At least it wasn't a nat one. That one I think could have been scary. Yeah, the rabbits aren't doing great tonight, everybody.
You are not particularly confident one way or the other of direction, and maybe it's just the way that the hills are rolling. Like everything looks the same in all directions, and you even struggle for like 10 minutes to get your bearings of north, south. Like it takes longer than anyone is like, what is she doing? Before you realize, okay, the road does continue to the east. The best advice you can say is to follow the road, with no one else being able to kind of give like a we should turn north at this point kind of direction. East it is.
Let's do it.
You guys set off on this trajectory, and in the interest of time, your day and the following day are continued along this particular road. At a certain point, you come across a way marker denoting that this is the Droxmarkave, was the name of the road. Obviously, behind you is Brunderkiln, and ahead you read by the end of or by the next couple hours, you'll reach the village, town, city of Merkmeyer. You're not sure; doesn't ring a bell to anyone. And kind of underneath that, with a slightly further marker, you read Draakrock Swamp. Anyone is free to make a history check on that if they wish, because that is a little bit more commonly known.
Oh, we're turning around. Nat 20. Nat 20.
Nat 20?
Nice.
so did I. Holy
It's way better if you
shit.
get it than I do.
Nat 20.
Kyle, tell me everything about this swamp.
Absolutely. The Draakrock Swamp is a point known to several of you because, one, it is a notable just kind of swampland, basically directly south of Karden, but would be north from Marabella, by just up along the coast, and would be a certainly notable point to the shepherds, as there are several tales about the Draakrock Swamp and the beasties who reside within it. But most notably, Draakrock, the mineral, the ore, Draakrock or arcurite, primarily is mined from within it. Mining in a swamp, not an ideal thing to do. However, where this happens to be, where these ores and veins exist, is in and around this area. So it is not a good existence for those who have to work and live there. And there's a reason that it is kind of part of the annexed lands by the king of Candorne, annexed from Ironhome, and is pretty much one of the most prominent disputes the two kingdoms have against one another. Draakrock arcurite being an incredibly valuable resource that was kind of stolen in a time of need as a result of this, and the people who live there primarily are of Ironhome and have work this almost like a prison camp kind of situation. Like it is slummy, and people who work there because they have nothing else to do beyond turning to crime, and it's not kind to those who operate and run around, work at the higher levels. Can be downright cruel. The trade of Draakrock and arcurite, primarily coming from this destination, runs through the Draaken tunnel specifically, and those caravans and carriages are arguably more guarded than a royal coach. That's the level at which we're talking. So, knowing that is kind of in this region should give you a little bit of context of the type of people that you will kind of come to find up there. Notably, pardon me, Merkmire being before that, there will be a village or a town of something before reaching the swamps proper.
Kyle, can I make a request? That's something I kind of forgot about in these 2 days travel. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, that the shepherd that we met gave me a scroll or something, some kind of something. I can't remember what it was.
The scroll he gives you was the scroll of the Shattered Shale of Stormbreak Point, the Shale Striders storyline, a notable heading within the Shepherds. Is there anything you wanted to do with it, or just?
No, I think I just wanted to see what it was, and I imagine all the headings have kind of heard each other's heading stories. That's just something if you know the heading, you probably know the story. But it's just nice. I think she'll just sit and read it to herself, of seeing if it's any different from what she's heard, but nothing just anecdotal, nothing game changing.
No, it reads the same as you've always heard it, and these are the main stories taught to you from the earliest stories. These are stories that the typical would be told at the campfire to the kids as you're growing up. The stories of the headings of the shepherds are the first stories, beyond the teachings and stories of Koros, and the how the Far Strider works and all these kinds of things. But the stories of the notable headings are commonly told. So this is not new knowledge to you. It was just a piece of common tradition with the shepherds to give and trade of some kind of thing, especially stories.
I'll just put it away somewhere safe.
Certainly. So at this, what is your third day of travel here? The village of Merkmire lies ahead. Is there anything you're doing before reaching this village as you kind of continue down this soft, mucky road? It begins to kind of descend a little. The air grows a little thick despite the cold, and you can see the kind of outline of a village ahead. Is there any preparations you make before making your way into this village? Do you enter into this village or want to do anything else?
Do you guys want to see if they have an inn we could spend a night in?
I mean, we're probably running low on rations, and no offense, Augustus, but the berries tend to
What?
They're great. They're super useful.
What are you going to say about
I'm a
the berries?
little tired of eating something that kind of tastes like nothing. It'd be really good to get it's very helpful, but maybe we can mix it up. Maybe we can put the berries in with rice or something, just something to, give us a little variety.
Super rude, first and foremost. But note taken. I'll see if I can mix up my recipe. That's fine, whatever. I think for certain then we should go stay at this village if my good berries aren't doing it anymore.
They're great. I can just, it doesn't hurt to have a little bit extra rations. Stay prepared. However, I will. Are we going to need me to give the speech about keeping a low profile, especially in small towns, and not doing magic, and maybe to Crane putting your lovely shiny weapon underneath some layers of clothing, and I'm going to sew up my little spellbook stash, and just try not to. I know we're all excited coming off something pretty cool where we kind of openly do all our cool stuff, but the rest of the world can be scary and mean, so let's just be careful. Especially when we're getting near the swamp where there's a lot of security.
What if we go into this town threatening, looking, intimidating? What if we show them before they show us?
What if they don't need to show us anything? We're just going to do some shopping and then leaving. Can we just be friendly and nice and not cause a scene every 5 minutes?
this world, nothing is ever friendly and simple. I've learned it's always a threat somewhere. And it's
I
likely
picture-
coming up.
I pictured Nettie and I between you two, just like looking up at like the angel on one shoulder and then just like, turning to the devil on the other. Oh, he has a good point.
Let's just go into our thing.
Okay. We won't do magic. I wink at Andy.
Do it. You use the wrong eye. You can see that side.
Oh,
Just done it openly, okay? I don't want anyone to get caught. It can be really scary.
okay. Ray, why don't you tuck in and I'll like button up my coat a bit and have Ray just go in my.
Maybe it's fine. Maybe no one cares. Maybe they're all just here to do our work. But new places. It could be fun to go to new places. I don't want to be a downer about it all the time. I really like it. It's just we have a history of making waves.
The last place we went to was completely overrun with scary, like spawn monsters. So
Yeah. The
anything's
time
better
before
than
that, we made the entire town hate us and literally
Yeah.
chased us and sent the magic police off on us. So.
And then the other time, there was a terrible murder that we almost got blamed for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't had great luck. Maybe we bring it upon ourselves. Okay, let's just... Yeah, maybe we meet new people. We can be nice. We can not threaten them. Maybe? Maybe the bar is on the floor. Let's start with not threatening people.
Okay. Let's go.
You all start off with varying levels of hope towards the village of Merkmeyer, which is about as pleasant as it sounds. It is muddy thatched roofs on a dozen plus structures. You see several with a kind of firelight in windows and a grumbling populace that you begin to kind of pass in mucky, sodden streets. However, in short time, you spy a pub, and is a promise of proper meal and ale for those who seek it inside. And it is easily the biggest structure within this town, and seems to be the most populated. The rest seem more like homes, and even in terms of businesses, like as you're kind of looking to shop for even just for simple rations, you're not seeing any obvious signage for like even a general store or a smith or anything like that. So you can search further if you like, but it's not obvious. You'll require a check. Otherwise, you can obviously see the pub.
I will flat out just ask the bartender, because asking for directions is not something Andy has any problem with.
You make your way inside then, and the tavern is slightly dive bar-esque, but there is a roaring fire to keep out the cold, and the patrons keep the volume high enough that you're able to talk without easily being overheard. You're able to find a table very easily at this time of day, which is kind of it's kind of just between lunch and dinner, so it's kind of the quieter time to be into a tavern. And even with that being said, it's about a quarter full, so not much else to do in this place but to be here. At least it's warm. You're able to get a table, but speaking of a bartender, you do see standing at what is the large kind of wraparound bar, a short, clean-shaven dwarf with gray hair tied back, kind of in a bit of a bun, tending bar. You note his right eye is milky white with a series of scars that carve through from scalp to cheek. You note the skin around it appears bubbly and pockmarked, like a really long-healed burn. There are a number of other patrons within the tavern. You see a good eclectic mix of stout folk, dwarves, gnomes, halflings, humans. Notably, you don't see any kind of elven or fae-related creatures. A couple of other dragonborn. There are some bestial, but none that you've had experience with in the past, but also none that really stand out. That is relatively common in Ironhome and Candorne especially in annexed areas. So, that's what you see.
Nice place.
It's actually not bad. It's been to us. Hiya, can we just have like some lunch or something else? Whatever you've got cooking.
Not much in the way of cooking, but I can get you some ale and cheese, some bread.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah, excellent.
You and 3, all right.
Yeah, 4.
You're not from around here. Clearly, you're a little too clean, but you're looking to stay? We got rooms.
Yeah, sure. I'd appreciate it.
Wonderful. Well, that'll be it'll be 5 silver for all of you.
Okay, sure, yeah.
I'm like, oh fuck, how much gold do we have? Apparently I have 143 gold. Great.
Yeah, we're okay.
Great.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that's
I've
not
given-
5 silver each. That's 5 silver total.
Yeah.
10 silver is 1 gold, so I think
Mhm.
I'll just give him a gold.
If you flick a gold up to him, he catches it and looks down. Well, for that, you'll get the good stuff. No mold.
Oh, great.
Great, thank you.
If you're flashing coin around, I'm happy to bring around some ale or got a couple of bottles of wine if you're interested.
I can't touch this stuff. I had a bad experience in Empire.
you said you have cheese and bread?
That's most of what we got here, yeah.
Can you, like, melt the cheese on the bread? Like a za, if you will?
I can certainly try. Might get some ash on it, but maybe it'll be flavor.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'll give
A
it
little
a
smoke. Yeah.
yeah. I never tried that before. I just ate it hard and cold.
Oh.
Oh, no, wait till you try this. You'll never go
Easy
back
on
to
the
hard
teeth.
and cold.
Oh.
He busies himself with the gold pocketed, going about and going. You see him go over to the fire, moving some people out of the way, and everyone's kind of watching as he's like trying to melt and like get the cheese warm on the bread. Not pizza like whatsoever. Like it's a loaf of bread he's melting cheese on top of.
It's like garlic bread without the garlic. It's
Well,
fine.
a weird grilled cheese. Okay. Still yummy.
Roll to see how well he does this.
Come on, Nat 20.
Got
Come
this.
on, Nat 20.
I shit you not. It's a nat 20.
Yes!
Did we just invent garlic bread?
We
Or
fucking
grilled
did it.
cheese?
It was a nat
Yes.
20. The crowd is amazed. This is culinary arts at its finest. And he for some reason they don't have pizza, but he has one of those big pizza boards. He's able to get into the fire. It melts on nicely. As he kind of lifts it up, it hits a bundle of herbs and some oregano, gets kind of dazzled and drilled on top of it and kind of sprinkled out. And he kind of brings over to your table this beautiful non-garlic bread.
Hey, Enid, some places, if you order something pretty regularly and it's either really good or other people like it or you become well known, they'll name it after you.
What? So, you could call this, the Enid?
Yeah.
Is that your name?
Yeah, it's my name, yeah.
Well, then this will be henceforth known as Enid's.
I love it. We're taking the Enid.
Hey, sir, I also have one more thing. You've been so nice to us, and this Enid looks absolutely delicious. Do you have
It
any?
really does.
Do you have any entertainment that plays this establishment?
Oh, no, not really. It's kind of, you'd think we would want it here because everything is awful, but, no one really has the, skills for music. The only thing we have here is, some really good storytellers. Marlon tells a mean story, and he kind of
Immediately
flips
looking
over.
up, trying to
You look over, make a perception check for me with advantage.
Oh, good. I was about to say, I don't have advantage because I have to delete the rod from my profile. And it made me
He's giving
sad.
you a point to look to, so he's giving you the aid.
That's a 14.
That is enough. As he kind of gestures in this direction, you come to the midpoint left of the fire. There is a table that is surrounding kind of a group of people surrounding a table, a dozen or so figures. And through the crowd, you can see this gnome or halfling is standing on his chair and is kind of just gesturing wildly, telling a story. You can begin to hear it. You'll have to get closer to hear the full story, the 14. But you begin to hear this first line before you can make your decision if you want to go over. And so there you were, finally standing at the edge of the loch. Lily pads as far as you could see. So many you could just run right across it. Old Grimble stepped up to the water's edge, and he picked up a fat-looking toad. Eyes the size of dinner plates they were. He lifts up and he begins just croaking at it. And he leaps up on the table and he's pretending to be a frog, and everyone's laughing.
I rip off a piece of the Enid and absolutely go over there. It does not matter what the story's about. It can be the shittest story ever, but with a good storyteller.
Give me a history check as you make your way over, because there could be something to pull from there.
Sir, when he's done, I've got quite the performer to tell you about.
I'd be happy to hear it. Yeah, I got to check in with some of these other people who need some. It's just me working, so I got to make sure everyone's well fed. And
We don't know this guy's name yet.
What's your name, kind sir?
Oh, my name's Warfer.
Warfer?
Yeah, it's Enid apparently. What you are?
You can call me Augustus.
Augustus, pleasure to meet you. He puts his hand out to kind of shake yours.
My paw is so tiny in his little hand.
He kind of crushes it a little.
Oh, thank you.
Heavy, like stiff, like strong arm.
Calloused hand. Yeah.
Enid, he doesn't go for the arm shake, but he does kind of do a little like almost half bow. And he looks to Crane. And you, sir, what's your name?
It's the Crane.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. He puts his hand out as well.
I'm already gone.
That was Andy.
As you guys have introductions, Andy, you make your way over into the crowd, of whom you kind of stand towering over. There are 2 or 3 other like humans in this group, but they are not your height. And as he, Marlin, kind of gets down in his frog leg squat, he finishes. He still stands up on the table and continues kind of talking his story, careful to step over and around the glasses and mugs that are on the table.
I rolled a 27 to learn about a story about a giant frog.
You did not learn about the story of a giant frog. You learned about Old Grimble. History check tells you that the Tales of the Glorious Grimble was a popular post-revival book, which was originally published over 300 years ago. It features fun and fantastical stories of a gnomish wizard named Grimble and various antics in which he gets up to. It's been a long debated book as to whether they are simply stories or true accounts of a mage of an age long past. You would have certainly read or heard told some of the tales of Grimble. This one doesn't ring a bell, but you recognize at least the character within. As Marlin kind of continues, I laughed some too, and Grimble, he shot me a gnarly look, and I buttoned up right quick. As he did, though, the frog leapt from his hands into the water. Oh, I thought he'd really done it then. I scurried away for cover. I did. I thought he was going to backhand me. But before Grimble could wring my neck, the water of the loch started to bubble and turn as bright as green as I've ever seen. Grimble winked at me, and he stepped into the water. I nearly followed, but from the bubbles came popping 2 great eyes and the rest of a giant frog's head. The mouth could swallow this whole tavern and still have room for dessert. Sure as day follows night, I turned tail and ran, scurried my way up a tree. Through the branches I looked back to see Grimble walked right into the frog's mouth. The crowd gasps. Some roll their eyes. I swears upon my dear old mom, rest her soul, it opened wide and he walked in like it weren't nothing. Before I could call out, The giant frog closed his mouth and they were gone beneath the water. I never did see him again. When I came home, everyone asked, where's old Grimble? Where's he gone? I hardly had the heart to say. The old man croaked. The crowd has the same responses as you. Marlin laughs, chuckles to himself, and sits down, collects kind of 3 half-drank ales into one mug, and sits pleased with himself, drinking and sipping on this cup, with his feet up on the table.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. No, that was great. That was great. I was fucking in it.
Warfer kind of says, he goes back to work and goes about his thing, but brings you some additional meat to go along with your Enid, and just like a pitcher of water with some kind of dirty mugs, but better than nothing. And of course, if there's anything more you need, he tells you where he is. So what are you guys doing here in the pub?
I would like at some point to, when the crowd dies down, grab Warfer and just like pull him, wave him over.
I'll point out that there's no really dying down in the pub. It has only seemed to continue to accumulate people in the time you've been here.
I more meant like when...
He's quiet. He's not as busy.
No, when that bard, what was his name?
Oh, Marlin?
When Marlin's kind of done his set, then I'd be like, okay, this is a good opportunity.
Yeah, he's just kind of doing his thing, but you're able to come up to him.
Hey, so...
Hey, what's up?
My sister is an incredible performer, and I think she could get this place hopping. If we could have like a tight 5 where we could do like a little set.
Yeah, we don't have much in the way of organized arts here, but maybe if you can help me move some of these crates over there, I can set up a bit of a stage by the fireplace.
Absolutely. Let me get Andy. She's stronger than me, and I'll go get Andy.
He gets over and starts kind of shifting over the barrels and crates as you rush over to Andy.
While I'm moving.
Go ahead. I'm just talking to the guy. I'm like, hey, do you know the one where he like makes a man out of gingerbread? I love that one. Yeah.
Andy, I need you to help me move a bunch of crates because Nettie's going to play a set.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I'll be back.
As I walk by the table to Andy or to Nettie, I'll be like, Nettie, you're going to play in like a couple seconds, okay?
Whoa, wait, what? we mean for everyone?
Just shoving a crate. Yeah. I think you're going to be so good. I think this will be so fun.
Oh, I hope I don't choke or croak.
Focus.
DeCrane.
It's a battle.
DeCrane, throw me an insight check as this is all happening. Andy and Augustus, with Warfer's help, you guys are able to set up a decent-sized stage, maybe 3 or 4 kind of crates and barrels.
14?
In front of the fire pit. A 14.
What do you add to insight?
What's your insight bonus, though? I think you have a decent wisdom, don't you?
Insight's 3.
Okay, so 17. You're gathering a little bit of interest from the crowd. There's a lot more of like questioning, quizzical looks. Everyone's kind of just like, what are these guys up to? What are these newcomers into here? Just kind of rearranging our bar, moving people away from the fire. This is a little weird. It's cold. I want to be by the fire. But with the excitement of things happening and Warfer being involved, there's like a lot more of like people are drawing in to kind of gather. However, you do note that there is several of the crowd who are hanging back, whether because they're party poopers or something more nefarious, or they just literally just don't care about what's happening and are happy to sit back. Just something you note, that the crowd is evenly split between those who are interested and those who are unhappy.
We're the annoying theater kids who are like, hey, does everyone want to see
Watch me play this song.
what's it called, where you go and you like randomly sing and dance a something mob.
Flash mob?
A flash mob against your will. Yeah, that's us.
Yeah. Before this happens, I just want to grab Nettie and go to put my arms on your shoulders, press my little forehead close to yours. You're going to be so good, okay? Ray and I just think this will be such a fun moment and that you really got to embrace this newfound like passion you have because the other night you were so incredible. And as this is happening, Ray's going to like sprinkle around us and I'm going to cast Enhance Ability on you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before you do that, that's a spell being cast openly in a pub. Are you attempting to hide it in any way, or does that cross Augustus's mind?
I think he did promise Andy he wouldn't do it, and so he's trying to be mischievous and do it. And he also doesn't actually, he also doesn't want Nettie to know if he can hide it, that he's doing it.
You got it. What are their verbal somatic material components?
VSM, vocal somatic.
All three.
Too.
Okay.
Fur, which is handy because I made a fur, is the material.
It's more about, obviously, like verbal is you have to say an incantation, and somatic is there are a bunch of movements. However, you guys are weird, eccentric bunny people. We'll see how this goes and how sleight of hand you're able to kind of keep this on the down low. So a sleight of hand check from you, please.
13 plus 2 is 15.
Yeah, okay. That is easily going to beat the passives of everyone in this room. Certainly, half of them are already well into their cups, and the others are just not that perceptive nor insightful. You are confident in keeping the spellcraft hidden. Actually, does that beat Andy and Augustus or Enid's passive insight and perception?
DeCrane, what's your passive perception?
Mine's 19.
Oh, fuck, you're really good at this.
Is that insight or perception?
That was perception.
Yep. Okay. Enid, I think there's like I think the combination of feeling the spell take effect on you, and Augustus is like not quite so well hidden incantation, more than the animated hands, kind of gives away that he's doing something, but it's a positive. So you're free to. You'd see he was trying to hide it from you, but you're free to interpret that and deal with that however you wish. Andy, you are not perceptive enough to notice this, so nothing over everything over Andy's head. As Enid, Warfare kind of comes up to you and Augustus after the spell is cast. Says, well, we got this set up here. If Enid, you like to take to our makeshift stage, you want like a introduction? Are you going to introduce yourself? Or?
Yeah, you can do an introduction. That'd be cool.
All right. Instantly just turns on and says, all right, listen up. We got a bit of a treat for all you who are here. This young lady here is a very accomplished musician who's going to play for us today. Keep your hands to yourselves, you fucks. Enjoy.
Yeah.
There's some cheering from the crowd, especially those who have been drinking for a while. They're happy to hear some music. They don't know what you're going to play. Enid, you take up onto the stage with Stormcleaver in hand.
Stormcleaver. Yep. So I'll hop on and just be like, I call this song Thundercleave.
We're gonna do a series of performance checks.
Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna go for 3. We're gonna hope for at least 2 of 3 success out of the 3 rolls. If you get all 3, it's gonna be a banger, like destroyed. Everything is gonna go amazing. If you lose all 3, something awful has gone amiss. If you get 2 out of 3, it's totally a good passable version of this song, but you got some improvement.
Okay.
So let's see. Performance number 1 with advantage.
Advantage.
Okay, so this is number 1.
And before actually you tell me the total of what that is, the DC for success in this case is not going to be particularly high. These people are easily pleased. We're going to set it at a...
Okay, hold on. That's a 10 and then 16. So the first one is 16.
And what is the style of tune you're going for here?
Like, I get it, like right going at the beginning.
Very tenacious D.
Yeah.
Instantly, quickly, and raucously begin to roll into this surprisingly far more metal and rock vibe. And as you begin to play, the magically attuned nature of Stormcleave, of this Scald's Battle lute, amplifies the sound, and it does have a more echoing, reverberating sound. It does play into that kind of metal rock arena vibe, and all around the room you can hear it begins to like quake and rock, and the crowd is loving it.
Okay.
Question from the audience?
What's
While this is going on,
Mhm.
can I take a step outside because I'm not too
Not a rock guy?
not into this.
Yeah.
I just take a step outside to. I want to sense if there's any threat or if that feeling is come back.
Yeah. Oh wait, sorry. Any threats of the town or the feeling of like
Both.
this of the vision and creature? 'Cause to me, those are two different things.
Those are 2 checks.
Then I'm going to ask for 2 perception checks. The first being threats immediate in town. The second being otherworldly, we'll call it.
Okay. So threats in town, 6 and 6, 12.
12. Okay.
And another 6.
Oh, well, that's very convenient. We'll come to you here in a second as you depart from the room and step outside into the kind of cool air outside. It instantly kind of hits you again, and there's a bit of like a rotting, vegetative, like muddy smell that just like is all pervasive. It's not a particularly good smell, but it was sweaty and smelly inside as well. So it's kind of pick your poison. But you begin to kind of look around and just kind of gauge the threat level around this little village. For the most part, you're just seeing people coming, going, carts laden with what looks just like mud and earth, and people kind of milling about doing their thing. Everyone is just so heavily caked in mud and grime. It doesn't appear to be a nice existence here, but nothing immediately jumps out at you. You kind of take a pull away from the kind of entryway and just kind of walk about a little bit, kind of coming around the backside of the pub to a little bit of like a back alley into like kind of what goes down into a little bit of a foresty area, and kind of begin to go a little internal and seeing if you can feel any of this otherworldly presence. Almost really just trying to focus on the spot in your chest that this creature was previously eating at. Enid, I need a second performance check as you roll into the kind of chorus section of playing.
Okay.
Going in!
Okay, 8. Is that with advantage or disadvantage?
They will
Still
all
advantage?
be advantage.
22.
You strike into the chorus and it's picking up pace, picking up speed, and picking up volume. Everyone starts to kind of nod, and a little bit of head banging going from these somewhat drunken tavern patrons, and like people are really starting to vibe with it. As you like continue playing, it's hitting its kind of crescendo. You're coming in for the. Can you stick the landing with the final check?
Yes. From the bridge into the finale. Here we go. 10 and 20.
with just shredding. Lightning sparks from the tip, like almost a full bolt, just like, and the crackle and rumble of thunder. The crowd gasps as like you hit the final note, and it just reverbs. Quiet falls for a moment before cheers. The cups fly, ale flows. And applause and encores, more. You are suddenly the pride of Mirthmire.
I go, catch me! And then I jump into the crowd.
I cannot catch you. There's too many tall people, but I try and go for it.
They do not catch you.
Just collapse onto me.
They kind of like, it's just kind of a heap of you and a couple of other of the people who are there. They tried. They failed.
Like,
I'll help you up by like the scruff.
Yeah. You were so good.
Thank you. That was so much fun.
Yeah, there are more cheers and kind of calls for an encore should you wish to continue playing. No checks required. It's purely like a role play thing. If you want to, you're free to kind of continue and play as you wish, or you guys
sure.
I
can keep playing, sure.
Sick.
Enid goes back up for the encore. DeCrane, outside you hear this raucous applause, and it takes you out of the moment kind of internal search. And maybe it was that distraction, but maybe there's nothing there to find. But you can never quite catch that same moment as you had previously. Without having that connection, do you turn to go back inside? Do you hang out outside? What else are you trying to do out here?
I guess maybe I take in some energy from the round, and then once I'm good, like almost like a smoke break, I'll go back in.
Yeah. You head back inside, and this is the perfect spot to open feed and just take in the energy of the kind of amassed crowd. And actually, what kind of works out better here is with Enid kind of building them up, the energy is more lively and is a little bit more flavorful, if that's a thing, like in the way that you take it in. So settling back into your seat, it does require you to kind of go into, no, I don't want to call it like meditative because you're still actively like there, but it is like an active thing you have to like set into in this like feeding on energy thing. So as you kind of sit in your chair, just kind of opening yourself up and just absorbing this ambient energy of the room. The most drunk in the room are going to have a real bad hangover. That's the worst that's going to happen here. But you are fully topped up and you feel pretty good. Even a little bit buzzed thanks to their inebriated energy. Enid continues to play into the evening before retiring. The pub does get rather busy as the night progresses, and it gets pretty full, and you guys are several times offered a round, and more than offered, rounds are handed to your table for Enid's playing and just hearing it, just chatting and anything like. I know most of you don't drink, but the drinks will be coming your way.
Andy's drank before. She's not gonna get wasted, but people make wine in the backs of their carts. That's not that weird.
That's not weird at all.
Gus is just terrified by booze after that one time he tried to have it, so.
One time in the worst bar in the world.
But he's so, like, proud and enamored and, like, just so happy. It's, like, one of the happiest moments he's seen, seeing his, like, sister just, like, crush it. And he's just kind of that thing of, like, the nostalgia of a moment and knowing it will end is kind of like a little bittersweet, but he's just like trying to soak in the moment of like how nice this is.
The moment, unfortunately, does have to come to a close, and though the bar patrons continue well into the night, into the early morning, with travel on the horizon, the advantage here is without checks, you are able to get directions with just casual conversation. A day north of here by the road north will take you straight to the Draaken tunnel. Just following the road directly out of here. It's a normal trade route for the mines up through Arcaden. There's definite notes of don't head closer to the swamps, and certainly keep your nose out of company business along the way, lest the worst happen to you. There are tales of people who have just kind of asked the wrong question and suddenly found themselves in chains in Arcaden and then had to work a prison sentence off. But a long rest achieved in less than the greatest quarters, but better than potentially cold outside sometimes.
We take some Enids to go in the morning.
They are provided happily. I'd say for further food and though much is bought for you, I'd say collectively another gold gets you guys very comfortable and happily on your way.
I pay.
Am I still exhausted?
Nope. Exhaustion levels all gone. Everyone is in the clear, well fed, and you set off from Murkmire with the day's travel northward. You climb up from the swamp and bog to the base of the Silver Mountains once more. Nearing the end of this fourth day, you see your destination lie before you. Carved out of the mountainside, you see a darkened archway and a long line of travelers winding out behind it on the road. As night begins to beckon, you approach by the road and see that the tunnel through the mountain that will lead directly into the Candorian barony of Kinshire lies before you. Torchlight begins to illuminate the archway of stone built into the mountain face, reaching its apex some 30 feet high. A thick wall of stone and brick extrudes from the mountain. You see a heavy metal gate that has been raised to allow travelers through. In the mountain wall itself, you do see a handful of turret-like extrusions where crossbow-wielding soldiers watch the horizon and the line of travelers below. Banners fly from the points atop the walls, and the soldiers you see wear the signature color and standards of the McCairn crest, a roaring lion's head framed by the mountain peaks of the capital's backdrop atop a field of red and fringed with gold. Regal and reflective of the nation's military strength and prowess. You finally approach the back of this line and note a dozen or so groups ahead of you and up to the tunnel mouth. And at the tunnel mouth itself, you see about a half dozen soldiers keeping order and questioning those coming through, searching bags, searching carts. It will be, you'll be subject to that when it's your time. Given some time, you can see that this is likely to be a tolled route. You'll be searched, you'll be questioned. Given that, is there anything you prepare to do ahead of time?
I would say if this is something that makes sense for Andy to be used to knowing to have to travel places where you might be stopped and your ship might be looked at, just knowing for the shepherds, I'd imagine she'd be used to within her own bags and sewing in pockets kind of thing, right? Where you put in a lining, but the rest of the time it's just I undo it and it's just a pocket. And probably if I knew something like this was standard, I don't know if I would, offering to do it for other people at some point as well. I don't know if I would in this specific instance though. I'd imagine my stuff would have that, but
I think given the time, I think you would have to have something specific you want to hide to have the inclination to do that. Does that make sense? You're yeah, we've got this magic ring. We probably shouldn't wear the magic ring through obvious thing. We should hide it in a thing.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is we had a piece of that like drug rock stuff.
Well, you had I don't think you had a piece of Draakrock. You had a plate of
But it's the same material, right?
yeah, but it's not it's not
Arcuate?
pure ore. Yeah, it's like arcuate plate.
So it wouldn't look as like suspicious to be like, are you stealing this arcuate? Given all the warnings we receive from people about like don't fuck with.
It's not that it wouldn't look suspicious, it's that it's too big for you to hide in a pocket.
Yeah, that's fair.
Would Kev's Star Wheel be super suspicious to have on him?
Certainly. Yeah. If he's not an Arcana class member, that's going to be taken from him.
So we gotta figure out that.
Would it be reasonable for me to like sew a fake pocket into like the end of his like long jacket? He has a long jacket, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think he wears not like a full duster, but I think he has like a jacket certainly has been bought with your kind of like cold weather gear.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll a d20, add your proficiency bonus because you're proficient in these tools, and your dexterity.
It's my dex again. It's not very good. Oh, it's not terrible actually. 16.
Okay, so it'd be a 16 DC to search to find what we'll call his pistol and amassed bullets.
Jeez. I don't really have anything yet to like help that, like no sneakiness to help it. I don't think I'm hiding anything.
Andy would be aware of this, but collectively, obviously, magical items that are, overtly magic would be notable. Any kind of text that would be in a magical connotation or of anti-monarchy or are religions that are unapproved, those could certainly be searched and found. Even just like certain, you guys don't have any of this, but like any kind of like anything that would indicate where you would have traveled into like enemy kind of territory, elements of your enemies would certainly be suspicious. Elements of groups that are illegal would be suspicious.
We have that like book from the Defilers.
That's suspicious.
Yeah. There's no way around these people, eh? We have to go through them?
Not without like traveling over the mountain and like adding an extra week to your journey, if not more.
Kyle, I'm just re-rolling because it's a new day. My portents. I'll send them to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that could be helpful. It's not great, but it's okay.
No one's
I'll
really
check.
sneaky.
Andy, if you want to throw a history check as well, there's one other pertinent element for you potentially.
28.
Yeah. With confidence, there are no official Arcana class members stationed within this settlement. The relationship between the company and the Arcana class is tenuous and specifically can be aggressive in the nature of Draakrock and Arcurite. Then this being like a monitored travel route and trade route where this has to come through. The Candorian company, which is like the main military arm of Candorne, keeps their Arcana class at bay especially in terms of Draakrock and Arcurite. So they are not permitted to have stationed authority here. This is going to be purely like soldiers of the king.
Would I know anything, like if I can, tack on to that check, like what the common reasons for people traveling through this tunnel are? Like, or is it mostly merchant? Is it mostly people visiting family? Like, what's the most common?
It's primarily like merchant selling wares, people from the annexed areas coming to trade into Karden. Mostly it's people going to Karden in some context. There are religious like pilgrimages and entourages and like that are traveling bards and shepherds is not uncommon. Messengers and what's the other term that I'm thinking of for like messengers and I can't think of it now. But like people who are bringing like people who are bringing like packages and items and missives for like emissaries of various nobles and things like that. There's all kinds of like normal travel comes through here. It's a tolled route simply because it is the fastest route for Drakrak to come through. That's the main purpose of this, is to expedite that travel and to have a military branch at the ready. This is a direct border between Candorne and Ironhome, and this tunnel was carved here with the intent of making this travel possible.
Yes. So we're just going through customs. Do we know what the toll is?
A couple of gold each. Like, it's not nothing, but to some people it's a lot.
Yeah, I'll tell everyone to like have the money ready with the intention of looking like, yeah, we're expecting this. Like, we've done this all the time. Like something.
Yeah. I'm going to wait for Kev to get back before we continue. Before we actually get into it. But if there's anything else you want to prepare, we can do that now. Before we actually go and talk to these people and get through this thing, I'll wait till Kev gets back.
I'm frantically looking at my spells, being like, what could help here?
Well, the problem is casting spells that have like a lasting effect. They might be able to see it.
And I was like, pass it out of trace, but that's stealth, not like sleight of hand.
I mean, even like your my first thought was your enhanced abilities for a charisma purpose, but that's also something that's concentration and could technically be tracked.
True. Revivify? Just one of your dies?
Just in case.
I don't really have anything magical on me aside from like Ray floating around, but nothing like overt.
Yeah, any of the like books and stuff, anything that we think might be not happy, we can put them in my bag in the hidden pocket.
Can you put the dragon book in? It's very important to me. And one page of it is. And the Defiler book, the one about whatever that was. Remember you had like that spell book kind of from that?
I have the book that has spells in it, so that one.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah, I mean, you have... Andy has like at least 2 or 3 texts that are going to be questioned.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be able to hide all 3 of those books in a single pocket.
I know.
Like, it's a book in a bag. I'd give you one.
I'll do enhance ability on you. Do you think it's dangerous?
Would I think that's dangerous? Based on what I've been warned?
No, you could cast it ahead of coming to the gate. Like, it's concentration for how long? An hour?
Hour.
Yeah, like you could, as long as the line doesn't take an hour, which you don't know. But like leading up to, like casting that is subtle enough. So what do you?
Which of these books seems the worst? The one with technically spells in it, but you might not know that there's spells in it until you actually read it, or the Defilers one, which is very obviously about a bad group.
Well, the one is an actual spell book.
Oh well, then that one's going in.
Like the one you don't you have. Oh no!
I thought I had one that had 2 spells in it.
You have the Journal of the Defiler guy, which is just the ravings of a madman, and like depictions of torture and.
Maybe we just lose that one. We're just like, don't bring that. I don't know how much that's useful.
You have the book on eritology and Tenets of the Watcher, and you have the Laws of Preclusion and Exile.
And that one is the one that had the spells in it, but there were 2 of them. Or they're not even like specifically
3 spells. Those are well hidden. It took an arcane mind to figure it out.
Cool.
But the tone and verbiage of both of those texts could put you, depends on who you get, is how I'm going to put it. And there is a mechanic into which we're going to find out who you get. You could walk into someone who has no interest and no knowledge of any of this, doesn't care about the Watchers. Or you could walk into someone who could exploit that knowledge and look for personal gain. Or you could walk into someone who is pro-monarchy, pro-Candorne until I die, and the Watchers are a little on the outs. And therefore, you could be seen as an ally of a rogue religious sect.
I think I'll burn the spooky diary of the evil guy before we get there.
Sure.
Just if we're like at our campsite thinking about what we do, like, why don't we just destroy this? It's like awful and spooky.
Yeah. This conversation easily would be had like at lunch, like 90% of the way there. Like you can see it's ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy's kind of explaining the situation here. This would be common knowledge by the shepherds that she rolled really high. So,
Andy, are you okay with that?
Yeah, how long is it, Kyle? How many pages is it?
The diary?
Yeah.
No, it's not particularly big.
I'll speed read it in case I haven't already and try to see if there's any. I'm sure we poured over it, but like one last flip. Yeah, no, that's probably fine.
Nothing more to check. The only thing that, if you wanted to, there was the map that they drew to lead to the tower, to the grotto from the city in the Underdark. If you wanted to keep that, or
can I just rip that page out?
Yeah. But that's the only other thing in there. So yeah, getting rid of the rest of that is not an issue. You, like,
Kevin, I'm hiding your gun in the lining of your coat.
I mean, fine.
Kyle very specifically said, if there's a gun, they're gonna arrest you. And we were like up and away.
Always ready to use it.
you can access it. It's not. It is in the accessible pocket, but it has a DC that I'm going to roll against to see if they find it. Because if they find it, it's at the very least getting taken from you. If you're not getting arrested.
I understand different jurisdictions have different laws.
Now, just another thing to be aware of. You have various magical items upon your persons. Those could be of interest to certain people who are capable of noticing that they are not just mundane items, keeping those in mind. And I don't think there's anything else that jumped out at me outside of the gun, the various texts that you have, and Andy has a scroll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can I, when I close up my spell book, scroll into that? Or is it like a hard case?
No, you could sew it into there, but I'm going to ask for another check on that to hide it in there.
Do it.
Same check, DC or D20 plus dexterity plus proficiency.
So I'm adding 4.
Okay.
Right? No, 5.
I'm going to lie and say we're traitors.
15 on the dice, so dirty 20.
Okay, so it's a DC 20 to find the scroll and your spell sash, essentially. Like it'll take scroll and sash DC 20. That's hard. These guys aren't rolling that much. Aren't adding that much. It's a DC 16 to see your Draaken's gun and associated elements. And Andy, I'm going to just roll again for your hidden pocket of book.
Oh, roll even better. So 21 on that one.
21 for books. That's all that's been hidden directly, right?
Yeah, unless there's anything else. I mean, yeah, the only other magic thing I have is my focus. And I don't know what I would do with that outside of what I normally would do with that.
And astrolabe is not so crazy to carry around.
Yeah.
For travelers who travel by the stars. You're a shepherd.
Okay, let's get our stories. Get our story straight. You're a shepherd.
Yeah.
I think maybe we're traveling together. Nettie could be a traveling performer. I could be a traveling manager, or like
Yeah, we're like trying to get it to Karden to like for her big break.
mhm.
You guys hired me. You're like the manager. And DeCrane's like the muscle, like the security.
security.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just walking you from A to B. Where are you from?
Would it be crazy to say from Marabella?
I don't know if we're in the right direction.
Are we in the right
Are we
direction?
in the right
Dan?
direction?
You're on the wrong side of the country.
What's
Okay.
the next? What's like 4 towns away?
Maybe we're just from Merkmeyer.
But that's like how many days travel is that? Would people think that's weird?
day.
Or like,
It's only a day. It's where you just came from.
great. Okay, yeah, sure.
We're the Murkies.
That works.
Don't really like it as a name, but yeah.
No, I mean, I think if we stick with like a solo act, like she's got a.
Okay. Muscle, manager, shepherd, talent. Yeah. Okay.
30 minutes of waiting in this line while this conversation is happening. You watch people are questioned. They're taken individually away, not terribly far from the groups, those who are in groups, maybe like 10 feet apart from one another, but they're individually questioned by various soldiers, while the other amass soldiers pick through their carts, through their bags, through everything. Some a little bit more thorough than others. Some just given a cursory search. You wait, and those of you who are a little more nervous of authority watch as the crossbow wielding soldiers up in these kind of parapets and from high looking down, waiting and watching to see anyone untoward. You definitely note that you are more colorful and stand out from the crowd that is lined up here. The rest of these people look more of your standard peasantry and traders and merchants and things like that, but nobody quite as flashy as the 4 of you. As you come and are next in line, you watch the soldiers call you forward, and I would like each of you to roll a d20, and I will take you almost in an initiative order, not adding anything, just straight d20. The highest roll will get the easiest soldier. The lowest roll, the hardest soldier.
18 for me.
Wow. Who has the most shit to hide? You're DeCrane.
5 and 4, 9.
It's just the d20,
Sorry,
so
well,
5.
sorry, so 5.
That's tough.
Oof. I got a 19 on the dice.
That's good. Nettie?
Andy gets the easiest.
3? That's okay.
Admittedly, you have the least shit to hide, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of works.
Aside from this huge axe with a guitar.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, that's pretty obviously interesting. Okay, we'll see. So
Right.
Andy rolled the highest then. Augustus,
Yeah.
19, 18, then
Mhm.
5 and 3. He was really playing for the top and bottom here. Andy, August, DeCrane, and Enid. Okay, great. So you are all brought forth, and we've already gone through checking to try and hide anything at your person. So you see there are 6 soldiers standing directly. You see a majority of human, 1 blue-scaled dragonborn in amongst them, all kind of wearing the similar, like kind of standard leather armor. I shouldn't say leather, more like scale mail armor. So there's leather elements, but primarily metallic scale. Specifically, the Dragonborns had to have like his modified and to fit his frame. They all wear these kind of plumed helms, and there are there's a clear hierarchy. One particular soldier seems to be the aggressive, intimidating, cocky soldier. And he is looking amongst the 4 of you as to who he wishes to try and work over. The second, a woman, similar cold demeanor to her eyes, kind of at his side. the Dragonborn gets called over, and you see another captain, kind of a higher level of armor, more plate, longer plume of the helm, calls the Dragonborn over to him off to the side as he sits atop a horse, and the remaining two company men are a scrawny, like armor hanging loose off of him man, like barely fits in any of it. You see like his clothing underneath billows and bunches in odd spots. He looks pimple-faced and very newly hired here. And a halfling is also certainly not as intimidating as the others. Curly blonde hair kind of flows out from under his helm like hockey wing hair, like bright blue eyes, and a similarly acne-scarred complexion on a clean-shaven face. Both of them appear significantly under capable of this role. And thankfully, those are who Andy and Augustus get called to. The scrawniest of the gang here flags you down, Andy. And he looks up, high up into your face. He's like 5 foot even tall. He looks up and his mouth is agape as you kind of come close. Before he kind of snaps to and says, where are you coming from and where are you going?
Hiya, we're heading to Karden. Just as with those guys and just getting them there to and from safe. I can't remember in real life the name of the town we just came from. What's the name of the town we just came from?
Murkmire.
It's going on from Murkmire down to Karden.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How tall are you?
I've never measured. That's a good question. Taller than these guys. The Dragon Ball might give me a run for my money, though.
Go ahead and make a deception check at advantage.
Oh, the first one was a 2. Hey, the second one was a 17. Plus, I forgot that I'm good at lying in this campaign, guys. 21.
Okay. About 10 feet over, this halfling calls Augustus over to him. You notice as you kind of jaunt up to him, he's got kind of like a little notebook that he's kind of scribbling in. His leathers are dirty, uncared for, a little unkempt overall. Doesn't seem to really care for it. And notably, like elements are kind of askew, like he's not wearing them quite right. He says, so where are you coming from?
Hi there, I'm with them. We just came from Murkmire.
Oh, okay. Anything I need to know on your person before I have to conduct a search? Should I know anything that I'm going to come across here?
No, I think I'm all good. Please.
You actually do believe that, so there's no deception or persuasion here. And we're going to come to that roll here in a second. As the woman soldier steps up, points just pointedly at DeCrane, and then just single finger flick back to her. She doesn't move an inch.
No fuck.
Romance her.
Her demeanor is cold, though you notice a little twinkle in her eyes. And that just there's just something that, like, you have enough insight to gather there's something just a little different about her. But nonetheless, she stares at you. What brings you to Candorne?
We just came from Windmire and we're just passing through.
Just passing through.
Murkmire.
You're good. Perfect.
Uh-huh. You carrying any contraband, illicit materials, artifacts outlawed by His Majesty Albert McCairn?
No.
Make a deception check, please.
Come on, DeCrane.
Come on, McCrane.
Be cool,
You gotta
sexy.
be good at this shit. You gotta be cool at this shit.
18.
Yeah, baby. Yeah,
There we
baby.
go.
She looks you up and down, And Enid, this beast of a man, 6'5", intimidating stance, wide shoulders, dark skin, covered in scars, a life fraught with conflict. He looked heroic if he didn't look more like a villain, a thug. He just points at the ground, indicating for you to come and stand. It's uncomfortably close to him as he towers over you. He looks kind of all around, then looks over at the group kind of splayed out on the side. It's quite a group you got there. Couple of abnormals. How'd you all meet?
Yeah, we're all part of a crew. We're a band, I'm the talent, So if you want any of our autographs, we can give it to you. But we all basically have known each other for a while, done some scouting.
That's good. That's good. All right, stop talking. You play that thing? He points at the battle loop.
Hell yeah! Wanna see?
At the other side of the line, Andy, your soldier, a solid 45 seconds where he says nothing, just mouth agape, kind of staring, before he kind of snaps to and says,
I think you're supposed to ask me questions.
You seem nice. It's 5 gold.
Okay, yeah. I hand it over. I hand over in my pocket as if I was expecting it already.
He takes it, puts it into a pouch that they all have, a similar kind of satchel pouch. And he says, enjoy your stay in Ironguard. Thanks.
Thanks. If I'm let through relatively quickly, I will keep eyes on those who I'm concerned about, which is Draaken and Enid, just to make sure I can see them.
It's not totally uncommon to hold a few feet, 5-10 feet in past while your rest of your party is going through this process. So you just kind of come in through the first front lines. You've made your way in without being searched, because this guy finds you very attractive.
My chest is definitely at the right height.
Yeah.
I don't wear that many clothes, guys.
He's into it.
Augustus, after saying you have nothing to hide, the halfling before you begins to just go through the cursory search. It's about as much of a search as you get when you go to a show at a concert.
Yeah.
They just kind of
Poke
gently look at you and then walk away.
Yeah.
So it's a -1 investigation check happening, or a 5.
Great.
There on your person, there is nothing that I have determined 5 would be odd that he would particularly take from you. However, on a 5, he opens the. Just because this is where it is in your inventory. Your backpack, and the raking flail is sat right there, which is basically a skull with spikes coming out of it. Off it, it's a very aggressive, dark-looking object. He pulls it up, kind of spins it around, and is like, "Where'd you get this?"
It's kind of part of the performance that my sister does. It's a whole themed show.
Oh, make a deception check with advantage.
Oof. Okay, first one was 7. This one's 22.
He kind of swings it and just all right, well, keep safe. And he just kind of tucks it back into the bag.
Till I dodge it as what is it? Thanks. In my head, I'm why did I bring this? Oh my god.
He says, oh, and he's about to let you guys. Oh, sorry. 5 gold.
Right. So sorry. Here you go. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. It's okay.
I just added 5 gold to my thing. Remove.
As Augustus comes to join Andy, the female soldier looking up and down over to Crane, you rolled really well to lie about carrying contraband illicit materials or artifacts outlawed by His Majesty Albert McKay. And she just does not trust, but you seem to. She believes you believe it, and so she hasn't yet started her search. But it's just kind of like with a kind of like a club. Essentially, it's kind of just like opening your jacket, keeping her distance, and just kind of looking and being kind of pacing around you, and just kind of like popping open like pockets and little pouches, and just kind of looking. It's a slower, more methodical search she's doing on you. As she does the search, and I'm going to roll my investigation check, she asks, are you associated with, or have you ever dealt with groups of magical studies, radicalists, anti-monarchists, or any other known criminal enterprises, the Midnighters, Shikari, Defilers? Just poking in. With a 17 investigation. How do you respond to that question?
I say I detest magic. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near it.
That is partially true. You do travel with a magician.
He does make it very well known that he hates my magic. So
Fair.
on a regular basis, he tells me magic is bullshit. And I'm like, I'm right here. Okay.
However, unfortunately, a 17 on
Could-
the roll.
Am I able to see that she's like potentially close to finding?
You got
the
clear
guy?
line of sight.
I don't know how well she rolled
15.
on the dice.
Yep.
I have a 10.
Turns into a 12. Now, it costs your reaction, but no, but that part doesn't matter. You, where you're positioned right here, are as close as you can be to the captain of this retinue and another soldier. The other soldiers are focused on the rest of your party, but there is a military presence very close to you. So this is not casting a spell, but it is magical in nature. So I'm only going to ask for your choice of deception or deception or stealth.
I'll do deception.
Okay.
Is this advantage if it's deception because I have enhanced ability cast on me?
Is that what's got enhanced with
Yeah.
your charisma?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
17.
Yeah. The conversation that the Dragonborn and the captain are having continues, and you're able to, and this is so subtle and so quick, you're able to utilize your reality altering magic to, as you watch as she kind of reaches out with her kind of club, lifting the corner, and you can see the pocket like weighing the coat corner down. Just at that point, like wind kind of blows through and blows the coat, and everyone kind of has to shield their eyes a little as like the dust and things are just blown in, pulls her arm away, and she stows the club. As Decrane, she kind of looks you up and down, and doesn't look like there's anything to be found here. 5 gold for the toll.
I just nod and get the gold.
You pay it to her, she stows it, and you can tell on her face like she's unsatisfied. She felt like there should have been something, but no luck. Finally, Enid, before the imposing soldier, he looks down and no, I don't need a performance, but there's some more questions. You're coming in from the west. What were you doing out west?
Well, we had another concert out that way. You know, when you get requested as much as we do, you have to greet everyone and, you know.
And what's your group name, your name?
We are called the Thundercleaves.
Thundercleaves.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's mainly me, but yeah.
Why are there multiple then? Why is it plural if it's only you?
Well, because it's like, music is enjoyed by everyone.
He starts to get, he crouches down because he's so tall and you're so small. And yet somehow that's more imposing as he gets close. And he kind of leans in. Says, look, you're kind. The abnormals out there. You can't just let every one of yous in. You don't want to mess with a good thing. You're just playing music. That's fine. You want to keep playing music and hold on to this, and he kind of lifts the lute a little threateningly. And perhaps more than a 5 gold toll. And kind of looks over at the rest of your group. Mr. Crane walks over to the other 3. There's a mighty fine reward for turning in undesirables. Freaks, mages, cultists, people who can look normal, or not so normal in this case. Have a wealth of secrets and darkness just beneath the surface. In truth, we don't even need the evidence right now. If you catch my drift. I'd be happy to cut you in for half the reward. 1,000 gold. What do you say?
Can I talk to my manager?
No. He, more threateningly, and if you wish, you can actually, he's intimidating at this point, and is lifting the battle lute, free of your grasp, under the intimidating stance of play ball or else.
Do we even have that kind of money?
I don't think we do.
No,
I don't think we do.
I'll just kind of look up at him, and I'll kind of just look at everyone else, look back at him, and be like, if I may, what was the word you used to call us?
I don't recall. Abnormals?
Yeah, look at you, you're a giant.
I am.
Right, so wouldn't you be in that category too?
No.
Well, I think you should be.
Well, I make the rules here. So either we find a little bit more coin in those pockets, or perhaps this might be your end of your line. Cancel the tour, as it were.
Cancel the tour.
Does he want residuals?
Can I walk up to him and just be like...
You don't get to him. You start to walk forward, and the woman soldier who was with you steps in front of you, says, "What are you doing?"
Talking to your friend.
No, you're not. Stand with your friends.
Well, we've got a world tour happening soon, so don't really have time for this.
I agree. Best to just pay up.
To be clear, Kyle, did he say that 500 gold is the cost, or was just using that as hey, do you want 500 gold?
It was kind of both. It could be interpreted either way, as you want to turn them in, that reward is pretty hefty. And if you don't want to turn them in, then that's my cost.
Anything worth money?
We're not giving them anything.
I'm this close to starting a fight. It works.
How many guards are around? How many guards are around?
Oh, right.
There are 6 guards here, a captain, and then you saw probably like 8 crossbowmen in the turrets above.
Oh no.
And you'll be having to rush into this tunnel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll also point out the other side is gated.
Mhm.
The other side is a tunnel.
I don't have any. Do I have anything? I don't have anything.
I don't think.
How much gold does everyone have? I have 136 gold.
I have 82.
I have nothing.
You have no gold?
Oh.
I have 150.
I mean, you could try and just be like, this is all I got.
How about? You seem like a nice guy. How about 150?
You drop the full 150, like a pouch of 150.
Yeah.
He takes it in his meaty palm, just kind of hefts it. Make a persuasion check.
16.
He hefts the coin pouch in his hand. And in fairness, is going to do an additional investigation check, like in amongst this conversation, because I've meant to do that. And that would be part of this. You don't have anything particularly hidden. Rolled a 14. And this is kind of your most valuable item, is the battle loot and then just straight coin. You don't really have anything else that is like...
No, like my belly button ring.
Yeah, which like he's not gonna,
On your person.
Yeah. He doesn't know that that's a magic belly button ring that
No.
summons a flying squirrel. Yeah, you don't have anything else. So
No.
he pockets the coin, lets the loot drop, stands, kind of wipes his nose, turns back into Crane. You're with the other soldier and says, "It's all right, Seth. I was just making sure she wasn't smuggling anything. Enjoy your stay in Iron Come back.
Thanks. I'm gonna write a song about you one day.
I look forward to it. Name's Dredge. I want to hear that song.
Dredge?
Perfect name for this guy.
It really is.
Cyberpunk, I just picture.
With your tolls paid, and some more than others, you make your way through the rest of this tunnel, past the guards and soldiers. It's about a 40-foot tunnel of the brick and stone, this kind of classic tunnel structure. You're allowed through a secondary gate by another group of soldiers before you come into a torchlit cavern. The walls inside have been, into the walls have been built a series of structures that wind up high into the mountain walls. You see a market street of active stalls, peddlers, and people milling about, soldiers in and out of armor. There are various other businesses and structures throughout this small tunnel town. You gather a few hundred people, primarily soldiers, live here alongside traveling traders and artisans, craftspeople, and farmers, all on the move to sell their wares, where people seem to gather. At the far side of the tunnel, a few hundred feet, you do see the fading light of day on the Candorian side of the Silver Highlands. Welcome to Ironcard. Before we wrap tonight, as you guys begin to kind of explore a little bit of this, it's a relatively small town. There's not much you can go and explore. It's kind of a one main thoroughfare with a handful of pockets that have other businesses and kind of cornered alcoves of things. You travel through, walking this main track, kind of getting a sense of the city, of the town. There are people milling about, kids running and playing, livestock being herded from stable to caravan. And as Enid is no doubt telling everyone how she was just robbed, essentially, you notice a trio of luxurious-looking carriages that kind of stand out from the rest. Pairs of sturdy-looking shire horses stand at attention in their harness, and behind this trio of carriages, you get a particularly grand-looking structure. The facade extends outwards with a wide stone staircase, a series of doors, almost like a theater. There's a trio of soldiers standing guard of the main doors of this building, and there is the bright, flourishing text above that reads "The Captain's Club." However, across the main thoroughfare, as you're kind of all stopped and staring up at this building and these beautiful coaches, you hear a little. Your eyes turn from right behind you to a familiar face standing in a shadowy alcove between a temple and a shop of some kind or residence, as Isaac Everhart beckons you into the shadows in Ironguard. And that is where we'll end next time.
Isaac, you tricksy little guy. Nettie, I give you 68 gold. I split my gold, so now you have 68 gold.
We'll get our gold back.
We are not getting that back.
We're gonna
Crane's gonna sneak out and beat the shit out of that guy.